You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome back to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast, here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Thad, and joining me as always is my co-host, Chrissy. How are you today?
I'm good. I would like to know everything all at once, and everyone and everywhere, and every other word that you can put after every.
I
How are
don't.
you?
That sounds exhausting.
It does sound exhausting.
I just caught a glimpse of myself, and I had terrible hair.
I love it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Also joining us today is my co-host from my other podcast, Carl Wonders. Carl, how are you today?
I'm doing okay, and excited to be here and talking about this.
And Carl is also an associate producer of this podcast, which is the important thing. Before we jump into this, he's not a freeloader like me.
You're not a freeloader.
That's true. I do pay some money. I just don't pay enough for that.
I need to move mine. I don't know why. I always take it out when I have to say it anyway, so it's like I need to move it to some other show.
Yeah,
so
this
that
is
I'm not
this
saying
is
it. Yeah.
a Patreon roundtable episode because Carl
Actually,
and Chrissy are our two associate producers. Speaking of, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'll take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly the aforementioned associate producers. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of those associate producers and possibly come on the podcast. Who knows? For a monthly subscription of just $10. And your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all the shows on the network ad-free. Alright, so it's been a hot minute since we last came into your ears.
Yeah.
That phrasing wasn't great.
Could be worse.
Anyway.
You can redo
no,
that if
fine.
you want.
I'll keep that all in there. It'll be fine. We'll do it live.
We're doing it live!
Now that you'll have to bleep because it's in the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
Do it live.
Anyway, so there's been a little bit of news. I think we last came to you in May when we did our Strange New Worlds seasons 1 and 2 recap. We're back today, and the biggest news Star Trek related is that Strange New Worlds was renewed for a 5th and final season of 6 episodes, which for those who haven't been keeping track, that means we are still getting 3 more seasons that have not yet aired. Season 3 is coming in a few days, or weeks, I suppose, which is also days. And season 4 is gonna be most likely next year, and then season 5 will wrap things up in 2027, most likely. We all want Star Trek to go on forever, so, like, clearly, maybe they could have done more, but 5 seasons is a good run for a streaming show. None of the other shows have gotten more, so this is pretty good. And folks on the internet can cool it with the Strange New Worlds has been canceled doomsaying.
Yeah, okay, so planning the end of a show years before it's going to happen is not getting canceled.
Yeah.
That is forethought.
They are
and understanding.
filming season 4 now.
Yeah.
So the entirety of season 5 will be produced with the knowledge that it is the final season.
Which I'm happy about.
Yes, I am
compared to what we've
absolutely
gotten.
happy about.
Yeah.
We'll get something better than a tacked on epilogue that doesn't really make all that much sense unless you are an uber Star Trek nerd. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The more concerning thing on that is that we don't, other than Academy, we don't have any other Star Treks announced as greenlit yet. So
That's true. Yeah.
And 2027 is the end of Alex Kurtzman's contract with Paramount. Now, they may decide to renew that contract. They may not. They may decide to bring someone else in to run Star Trek after that. Or it may be that will be the end of the current era of Star Trek. We will know in 2 years.
Yeah. Probably a little bit before that.
Probably a little before that. I personally would want Star Trek to keep going forever. I think I speak for most of our listeners with that as well. But at this time, we really can't say, and I suspect we certainly won't know anything until the merger with Skydance happens. Speaking of which... So, other news this week. Paramount settled the lawsuit that Trump brought against them over editing their interview with Kamala Harris, which for 60 minutes, which I don't know if Trump knows this. He possibly may not. Every interview that's aired on TV, unless it's literally live, is edited.
Yeah. Well, his claim is that it was edited. There's one question that was edited in 2 different ways.
Yeah, which is also, but it was still the same basic answer.
Yeah, same information.
And the only reason he knows that is because they included it in the promo for the episode. So the only reason he knows that she answered the question it's not that she answered the question differently, that they included part of her answer at one point and part of it at another, is because they showed both of them.
So they weren't hiding anything.
No.
They weren't conducting journalistic malpractice, and they weren't doing this.
I think they had a very good chance of, if they had taken it to court and fought it, I think they had a very good chance of winning. Yep. Not a guarantee.
Well,
there's never a guarantee, especially in... Yeah.
Depends on which district at this point.
Exactly.
So,
but the other thing is, if they had fought it, it doesn't matter how the final result would have been. Trump would have done everything in his power to make everything harder for them, including... There's no way in hell he would have allowed them. He would have allowed the merger with Skydance to be signed off.
Right.
Yeah, he would have directed the FCC chair to refuse it. Yeah.
So, it sucks that they did this. It sucks for journalistic integrity. It sucks for a lot of reasons, but it's also extortion. They were extorted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're not, again, I'm annoyed at people on the internet, as usual. So many people yesterday
that ends in
were
Y.
posting about how Paramount's bribing Trump.
Oh, God. Okay, basic literacy, people.
Yeah. No.
If they were bribing him, they would have refused to interview Kamala Harris. Yeah.
And so many people are saying, "Oh, they're only doing this because they want their merger to go through." And like, well, yeah, that's a big part of it.
That's not incorrect.
That's not incorrect. But in a world where we do not have a corrupt head of state that is treating the entire country as his kingdom, that lawsuit, if the lawsuit even happened, would have no effect on the merger approval whatsoever. So, yes, they were doing this to get the merger approved, but that's because of the extortionate behavior of the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
So,
and if that merger does not go through, that's probably is the end for Star Trek and Paramount and other things because of the current status of that company.
Yeah,
Or at
Paramount
least
is not going to. Paramount
No.
needs the merger to survive.
Yeah.
And it's to me, it's a situation where there was no good outcome.
No.
There was nothing. There was no way a good outcome would be reached, and this is yet another example of elections having consequences, and we are stuck with the situation we're in. And I don't think Paramount should be faulted for having to navigate the situation they're in the only way they could. I don't know what they could have
Yeah.
done other than this. It's terrible.
If they had stuck to their
and
principles and fought it, then and the merger doesn't happen, then
Mhm.
they would have run out of money and had to close up shop.
Yep.
Now,
And-
you could say that maybe that's what they should have done.
The argument here is perhaps for not allowing such large companies to control such large portions of the media. If CBS was its own entity, if even the CBS News division was its own entity, then you don't have this problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is something we can take that all the way back to Nixon, I think. Definitely the Clinton administration.
Yeah.
In terms of allowing that kind of monopoly. So
I mean, isn't that partly
Reagan
why?
too. Don't get me wrong. Just because I didn't say Reagan doesn't mean he's not at fault. Sorry, go ahead.
Reagan's
but
always
is-
at fault.
I mean, isn't that why MSNBC and them are being spun off in their own thing now, in a way?
I
Or is
have
it-
not been keeping tabs on that. So
I thought
Yeah.
NBC's news was being spun off as its own thing, and I don't know if it's. I mean, it's not.
Good.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be for the altruistic reasons that you're stating that you shouldn't have these giant
Of course
conglomerates.
not.
But yeah.
Is it because Comcast doesn't want to get sued by Trump?
yeah,
Maybe.
probably.
That's probably the big
It
reason?
wouldn't surprise me. It's a preemptive move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is classic fascism. Control the media. And no matter what people wearing red hats have said previously, the media was not under the control of other administrations. It's not technically
Not even
under the control
NPR,
now.
despite how much they love to say
Yes,
it is.
Not even NPR, yes. And people on MSNBC may have acted as a mouthpiece for an administration, but that didn't mean they were being paid to do it. And the same, as much as it pains me to say it, same can be said for Fox News. They're doing that because Fox News is paying them, not from, as far as we know so far, with the exception of Sean Hannity. But that's a different issue. He's being paid in excess as opposed to money. But yeah, so this is classic fascism. If you didn't know already, we at Infinite Diversity are wholeheartedly anti-fascist. Yeah.
The only difference here with your MSNBC comment is I can totally imagine the right being perfectly fine had Merrick Garland once turned up on Rachel Maddow's show, and now that we have people from the administration turning up on shows all the time, they're pretty much going back to their roots as Fox News hosts. So yeah, it is the propaganda outlet for the administration.
It is. No, I mean, and it always has been the voice of the Republican Party, always, since it was created. The only reason Fox News made any headway when it started on, when it was started on cable systems was because of the Clinton impeachment. Before that, it had no ratings.
Nope.
It was virtually nothing. So, yeah, right.
It sucks.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
with
they were stuck. Yeah.
Yeah. And with the way our government has been behaving, it's going to continue to suck and get worse.
So, to bring this to something Trek related, other than the fact that it's Paramount, those of you that don't have hard copy physical media of the first season and the first episode of Strange New Worlds should go out and get it now, because there is, in those scenes where Pike is explaining about how Earth fell apart and then had to come back together, are scenes from the insurrection on the 6th of January in 2021.
Yep.
And it is entirely possible that it's $16 million or whatever it is. Is it that small of
16.
an amount?
Yeah.
God, that's
It was
tiny.
16 million.
He asked for
you know-
billions, but they settled
Yep.
for
of
16 million.
course. Yeah. But it could be 16 million and remove any references that negatively display.
Yeah, because they
Well,
have
and-
pulled other things in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Paramount has removed episodes of other shows in the past, fairly recently even. For various reasons. So yeah, I would. I would not be shocked if that happened. I doubt they would pull the episode entirely. My guess is they would modify it. They
would just cut that part.
Clip out that
Yeah.
scene. But
Yeah.
yes. Also, on that note, by the way, if you don't subscribe to Paramount Plus, which if you listen to this podcast and you don't subscribe to Paramount Plus, I'm confused. But if you don't subscribe to Paramount Plus, season 1 of Strange New Worlds is currently free on YouTube in the United
that's
States.
nice.
Oh, interesting.
I should
Okay.
clarify it is only in the United States because weird rights reasons.
This region. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it is current. So you can currently watch all of season 1 on YouTube. And I would imagine that if you are a YouTube premium subscriber, that it would be ad free.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say, don't go and cancel your Paramount Plus subscription because it's not going to matter
Well,
in
also
terms of the
that.
politics of this.
Well, that's also true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Canceling your Paramount Plus subscription won't change anything. And
No.
yeah. And if enough people cancel their Paramount Plus subscription, then not even the merger with Skydance will save them. So
Right. Right. Don't do that.
if you want more Star Trek, stay subscribed to Paramount Plus. You're not they're already giving the money to Trump, so you're not giving them more money to Trump by continuing to subscribe. It's the money you already gave them that they're giving to Trump.
Yeah.
And that 16, like you said, is it really that small? That 16 million is nothing. That number means nothing to them. It means nothing to Trump. That's a line item, basically. In the scheme of running a media company, that's nothing. And to Trump, that's also nothing. But
Right.
it's the symbol of it. By doing this, Trump gets to say, look, they were wrong, even though they specifically, in all the wording specifically, did not say they were wrong, and part of the agreement will not issue an apology.
Well, and to Chrissy's point about the post editing of episodes, etc. Like, I mean, the only thing the other thing that worries me is that, of course, when you pay off an extortionist, they always go away and never bother you ask for anything else again. So,
Yeah, there's that too.
who knows what's going to happen next?
There's not like, even episodes of Star Trek about that topic. Right.
Yeah, there's that great Enterprise episode that's basically the Magnificent Seven.
And I was
forget what
thinking
it's
of
called.
Ardra.
But Ardra
As
works
well.
also.
Oh,
yes.
Ardra, yeah.
Devils do. Yeah. What's the name of that Enterprise episode?
I don't know.
You know the one I'm talking
know the
about,
one-
though, with the Klingon raiders that are coming by and taking the... Yeah. Actually, I think it might just be
Marauders?
called Marauders. That's it.
Marauders, I think, yeah.
Close.
All right. So, we've talked about politics. Politics suck. Our current timeline sucks. I wish we could be in an alternate timeline that didn't suck. And on that note, our topic this week is a little different. So, anyone who's seen the trailer for Strange New Worlds Season 1 saw what appears to be Trelane in the trailer, wearing a Trelane-esque outfit and snapping his fingers like a Q. So, that made us think, hey, let's... I think we've joked about doing an episode on Q squared a couple times. So we're like, let's actually do it. And then after we decided to do it, we heard the unfortunate news that Peter David had died. So now it's just even better that we get to celebrate Peter David with one of his best Star Trek novels.
Oh, yeah.
And he wrote a lot of those, by the way.
Yes, he did.
And a whole bunch of Star Trek comics, too. He was quite prolific.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And some other random stuff, too.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got,
tons of.
Yeah, the only thing that comes up to the top of my head is Sir Apropos of Nothing. Have either of you read that?
Mm-mm.
It's a very weird. Keep in mind, it's been a long time since I've read it, but I do distinctly remember it is a kind of a medieval setting fantasy, and it revolves around a Lord of the Rings-esque ring that you have to find, and it is. Let's just say it's a ring for a very intimate part of the body.
Ah.
Mm.
So it's
So this is
it's
a
an interesting
satirical
novel.
book.
Yes, it's definitely a comedy, definitely. But the guy's name is Apropos, and he does not have a home, so he is Sir Apropos of Nothing.
Nice.
Which a play on Apropos of Nothing. And yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But I think that's the only thing of his that I've read that wasn't a genre thing.
Yeah, I think I've only read Star Trek by Peter David. I've read a lot of Star Trek by Peter David, but I think I've only read his Star Trek stuff. The New Frontier series is great.
Oh, yeah. I gotta read those again. I only read the first few, and then I lost track of it.
Also, to bring this back to politics for a little bit.
Please. Everything is political.
So, I don't know the full details about Peter David's death. What I do know is last year, he lost his Medicaid.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big fundraiser for it. And then less than a year later, he died.
Mm-hmm.
So this is yet another indication why we should have socialized medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Medicare for all is not...
And we just,
Not
speaking
difficult.
of which, our illustrious Congress just decided to get rid of Medicaid for a whole bunch of people.
Yep.
Yeah, listeners, we're recording this on the evening of the 3rd of July. If I weren't recording right now, I'd be a couple of drinks in, but I decided to be
Hell, why
know,
not?
a bit sober. Because I love this book and I really want to talk about it intelligently. That's why. And that's the only reason why.
Let's just say
yeah.
I'm not feeling very patriotic about tomorrow, although I am glad I don't have to work.
There you go.
I'm going to celebrate in true patriotic fashion by go to the theater and watch dinosaurs eat people.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing too. Yes.
All right. So, this book, and we invited Carl on because I knew from many conversations with Carl that this is one of his favorite Star Trek books. So, Carl, what is your experience with this book? When did you first read it?
Well, so I should back up and say, yes, it is one of my favorite Star Trek books, but I'm also very negligent in terms of my Star Trek book reading, at least anything past the late 90s.
Okay.
So, or into the.
That's okay.
So
That's okay. That just means you have a lot of books, really good
I
books
have a lot
that you
to catch
can
up
read.
on. I know, I do.
You got that's like actually you got so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I will say this stands out even amidst that. When you get done with those, you will.
Yeah,
You will
I
start.
was gonna say, I've read quite a few from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s, and this is a really good book, even among all of those. So
Yes, I mean
sure.
it's no killing time, but it's pretty good. Yeah. Anyway,
Killing Time is actually not very good.
it is not.
Also,
Even the uncensored
the
version.
uncensored version is incredibly tame. Like they were really they were reaching for the inappropriate content when they I have definitely read fanfic that would make the author of Killing Time blush.
I've
Well-
read the motion picture novelization.
Yes. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Killing Time is the infamous Star Trek novel. to the best of my knowledge, it is the only Star Trek novel that was ever recalled and reprinted, because it has content that heavily implies a relationship between Kirk and Spock.
Yep.
It's not the only one that was recalled and reprinted.
Oh, really?
Because there was another one that basically stole the plot of a Western that Mark Leonard had been on.
Oh, Ishmael.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's for a different reason.
Yeah, no, that one literally was fanfic. It was a it was fanfic of Star Trek meets that Western, which was like, Here Come the Brides, I think?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I don't think that one was reprinted, though.
No, it just disappeared.
I thought it was... okay. I might be wrong on that, but...
I've never read it. I just know it has a pic. The cover art is Spock in a suit playing poker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I haven't read it since I bought it at a Kmart sometime in the early 90s or whenever, late 80s. So
you have the uncensored version?
Not Killing Time, Ishmael.
Yeah, the uncensored version of Ishmael?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Is there a censored version of Ishmael? I'm going to look this up now.
As far as I know, they had the author, or they had somebody go in and make enough changes that they weren't going to get sued by the production company.
Wait, it's by Barbara Hambley? She's like a real author.
Is this an urban legend that I'm repeating?
No, you're not. I'm just shocked that it's by... Because, like, this is like... She's like a recognized author who's written a bunch of fantasy novels and stuff. Like... What the heck?
Maybe this was very early in her career.
So, it does reference... Yes, it is absolutely... does have all the Here Come the Bride stuff, but I'm not seeing any... I'm looking at the Wikipedia article. I don't see that it was reprinted.
Okay, I'm wrong on that part then. Listeners, tell us.
Ironically, it is the novel that came out right before Killing Time.
It's a banner year for Star Trek novels.
Maybe
I'm only seeing
is...
one ISBN number, which would tell me that it was not reprinted.
Right. So, you know what I bet happened? If that was the one right before Killing Time, the two stories got glommed together.
Yeah, that's probably it. Because, no, it definitely does have... And it doesn't... And it's apparently not just Here Come the Bride. It also references Doctor Who and Star Wars and Bonanza and Battlestar Galactica, Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, and Rawhide.
Wow.
Well, at least Roddenberry wrote for some of those.
Yes.
I'll give him credit on that. And many members of the original series cast were on those at some point.
And yes, it does say that Mark Leonard's character from Here Come the Brides was Spock's ancestor.
Yeah.
Which is weird because that would be through Amanda's side.
Yeah, well, you know.
And not Sarek's. So why would he look like Sarek? But anyway.
Well, maybe the Vulcans were here earlier than we thought.
Why does Marty McFly have an ancestor who looks like his mother? Anyway.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, the Killing Time Wikipedia page is considerably longer.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But I really derailed this conversation with one joke.
I will say, I found Killing Time at a local used bookstore a couple years ago. The original version, and I got it for $2 because they had no idea what it was.
Nice.
I think I remember you telling me that, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, no, it's on my...
Well, anyway, yeah, Q Squared.
But yes, Q Squared, much better book than Killing Time.
We derailed you. Yes.
Carl, you were talking about your experience with Q Squared.
Yes, so I distinctly remember, so my mother was a big Star Trek novel reader. Got me introduced to the Diane Duane books and the Vonda McIntyre books and that era. And she was reading Q Squared. We were in the car. We were probably driving to my grandparents or something. I guess I was, how old was I? I was in my mid-teens, I guess, and or maybe early teens, I can't remember. But she was reading this book, and she stopped and she hands it to me, and she's like, "You're not going to really know what's going on, but I just want you to read this, like, 2 paragraphs of this book, because it's amazing." And it's the scene at the end of, and we'll talk about it, the end of the first time we spend in the track A universe, where Hugh comes through the wall and falls out and looks around, and he's like, "You have no idea how screwed up this is." and then she's like, and then I said, "Can I go back and read the beginning of this?" And I did, and I still have the book on my shelf. I kind of stole it.
It's all right.
So
you did let her finish it, I hope.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. But yeah, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since. I love the way, and he does this a lot, where he connects the dots between these different stories that we've read, and honestly does it a much better job than they've been doing it in some of the TV shows when they attempt to connect the dots. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But he really finds these threads. I'm actually just now starting to reread Vendetta, which is another great example of that, where he finds the ways of pulling these things together. And I made some notes this time around because I didn't really appreciate, or I hadn't remembered, some of the really deep cuts that he pulls in this one. That we'll get to. But yeah, I love the to borrow a phrase from another franchise, I love the timey-wimey stuff that goes on in this, and I almost did like a primer flowchart of like Hugh's journey through this book, because it's very circuitous, and how does he get from point A to point B, or I guess it's the other way around, point B to point A, really. But it's a phenomenal story, and Thad, you mentioned to me that you started reading the end and stayed up late, and then same thing with me. I just got to that last section. I was like, I'm not going to be able to stop reading this now. And plowed through the last 50, 60 pages or so in one go. So
yeah, I read the last 30% of the novel last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to do with this one. Yeah.
Because once it gets to the climax, it just keeps going, and there's you just want to. It becomes a page turner.
Yeah.
And that's not to say the beginning isn't good either. It is.
No.
But once you've got to that point and everything's falling into place, you're really invested in the story.
Yeah. And he ramps it up beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ironic. It's actually kind of fitting that I did end up staying up until 2 a.m. to finish this book last night, because I have a distinct memory of doing basically the same thing in the 90s in my bed with a flashlight. Because if I had turned the light on, my parents would be like, "What are you doing up?"
Yeah.
Yes. God's forbid somebody read into the night. I realize you probably had school the next day, but still.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also read this in the 90s as a young person, younger than Carl. Just because
You still are.
I still am younger than Carl. Yeah. Like, I was maybe 10, I think, when I read
94
this.
was when it
came out.
came out.
So it came out, yeah, it came out. I got it when it was at my local library, so it wouldn't have been immediately. So I think I was probably around 10 when I read it. Definitely at that age, definitely intrigued by like the scene where Geordi ends up in Troy's shower and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah,
I have a note on that, but
I've told this story to Carl several times, I think, but the first sex scene I ever read in a book was in the Star Trek 3 novelization.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was Imzadi for me.
Well, that's even... Oh, I also read Imzadi, but I read Star Trek 3 first. But yeah, Imzadi has the scene where they leave a they leave an impression in the earth that future archaeologists will.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the Star Trek 3 one because I think that might be mine as well. And I'm sure the only reason I read it with my mom not really thinking anything of it at the time because I was
Not
definitely
in the movie.
It's not in the movie.
No.
The first 100 pages of that book are not in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot, you watch the movie, it doesn't even hint that David and Savick had a relationship.
Nope.
Nope.
But my understanding is it would have been in an early draft, and that's why it was like that. And that's how,
Yep.
I will say, Vonda McIntyre's Star Trek movie novelizations are incredible.
Yes.
And you should definitely read them if you haven't. Because they do include a lot of stuff from early drafts that that ended up getting cut, and it works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it all, I think the Star Trek 4 one has the scene where Sulu meets his ancestor, but they couldn't get the child actor to act correctly, so they had to cut that one.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think it's been a long time since I read them, but doesn't the Star Trek 4 one confirm Savik's pregnancy?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that, which is
Spock
kind of
gets
sadder.
drunk on a
even.
mint.
Yeah. What?
I don't know why that's the thing that I always remember.
I literally actually didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, Spock gets drunk because he eats a mint. Because they have to buy a mint. They have to buy a mint to break change for the bus, and then he eats the mint and
Forgot
gets
about
drunk.
that.
What does it mean?
I don't
Exact
remember that
change.
at all.
He's like, I believe this contains sucrose.
Now I remember that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, but yes, this I loved this book as a kid. I read it again, I think, as a teenager. And then I hadn't read it again until just this past couple weeks as I was rereading it. So it was interesting how little I actually remembered other than vague impressions. So the story was basically brand new to me.
Cool. Okay.
Like I remembered, like every once in a while, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But mostly, like I didn't remember the twists.
Oh.
So
nice.
yeah, it was wild reading this one.
Very cool.
Chrissy, what was your experience with this book?
Yeah, I got this when it came out. I do remember that. I have looking at my very beat up, well loved
hard
copy here. Look at that. It's coffee stains and everything.
Has the dust jacket perished to the sands of time?
No.
Oh, okay.
I took it off while I was reading it. This was
I did the same thing.
$22, which was not cheap for a hardcover in 94.
No, I was gonna say that feels about right today.
Sorry, I just ran to get my copy to see how much it cost.
Just because I had to know, I grabbed a recent Star Trek hardcover book.
Oh, thank you.
okay.
I was just looking that up. Okay.
$25.
25. This was expensive then.
Yeah, that in 1994, $22 was a ton of money.
Okay.
For what it's worth, my beat up paper trade copy version was $5.99.
$5.99.
But it's been well loved, as you can see from the spine.
Yes. Okay, well that makes it sound like I'm sure we had a coupon or something. I don't know. We went into Walden Books. I know that it was like, I gotta have this, because that was just getting to the point in my life where if it was new, it was Star Trek, I had to have it. And the one thing that I could almost always be sure of that my parents would buy me was books. So, I've even got my old, I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. My mother bought me an embosser for all of my books.
Oh, nice.
When I was I was a tween, and I got it in there. Anyway,
I had Star Trek TNG book plates.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
They had they just had it was an image of like the whole senior crew, and it was like, this book belongs to.
I remember those.
Yeah.
I think I bought some of those at a Scholastic Book Fair. I love it. Yeah, anyway, so I was 12 when this book came out. I'll let everybody do the math on that if you want.
I was 8 when this book came out.
Okay, well there you go. All right. I think it is a very good book for a 12-year-old who is feeling frustrated and like people aren't paying attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. You definitely sympathize with Trelane. I have lost track of how many times I've read this. This is one of my comfort books. This is like when I was in the middle of grad school and needed something to read before I could go to sleep, this is what I went to.
Nice.
So that kind of thing. So I don't know how many times I've read it, but I'm still getting new things out of it. Right at the beginning. Is it right at the beginning? Yeah, it is. It's the first. The Romulan that is torturing alternate Riker, track B Riker, is named Salan. Or Salan? Right? Yeah, I didn't catch that particular reference until literally this time reading it. And he even makes it real obvious if you're paying attention.
Yeah, because I picked up on it when he says it later in the book. He's like, sometimes I went by the name of, and I'm like, oh crap, it was that guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh wait, come up with it. Okay, I'm saying this is Silo's father.
Oh yeah. Oh, but the other Romulan, the other one is Trelane.
What? Wait.
Because there's the two Romulans, or was it
the Cardassian Turo?
There's a Turo, the Cardassian. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, I'm thinking something else entirely. Then never mind. He says that he goes by and like gives a name that sometimes he on this planet he went by and he gave a name, and I thought it was the Romulan from the beginning. He's
pretending to be the terminus,
Yes.
the guy down on the planet.
Yeah.
That they talked to a couple times.
Okay, never mind. I misunderstood that.
You're fine.
Yes, because he does talk about how the first human he tortures was Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't pick up on the fact that he was Sila's father.
Well, it's never said outright. I'm making an assumption.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But it was one that never occurred to me before, and I think that's probably what was intended, just given the name connection.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I've read this how many times over 30 some odd years, and it just came to me. So this is like Peter David knew what he was doing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This very thoroughly integrated the idea that Jack Crusher had to be sacrificed to the timeline so that Jean-Luc and Beverly could be together. Like, that is my headcanon.
Oh, I assumed Trelane lied about that.
Oh, I didn't. I
didn't either.
Yeah, I thought that was genuine.
Figured he was because he knew that was the best way to toy with Jack Crusher. I assumed he lied about there not being any other timeline with Jack Crusher in it.
Oh.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense
the theory of multiverses, but at the same time, I like the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it is asking a little much for that to be the case, but
because even
Beverly shipper, it works.
Right, but I mean, even earlier in that chapter is when Trelane talks about maybe you'd sleep in and then your second in command would do something and that would cause a divergence in the timeline, like whether you woke up or not, and that alone would create multiple Jack Crushers.
I was saying, like, if I eat pancakes or I eat an omelet, that changes the timeline. I mean,
is it really worth another universe? That decision?
Well,
I guess it is.
See, that's the question of diverging and converging, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the only difference is what you had for breakfast, then it comes back together.
It depends on your cholesterol level, I suppose.
Well, but that would not be a convergence then, because if that leads to an event later that is relevant, like a fatal heart attack, then it's not convergent anymore.
Right.
Oh. Timey-wimey is definitely the way to describe this.
Yeah.
I love this book.
To echo what you just said about the possible Sela connection, I didn't pick up until just now reading it the cameo made by a certain Bajoran from Deep Space Nine in this episode, or in this book.
I did pick up on that one.
Yes.
Or I just must have breezed past it in other readings or something about how she's in the prison with Riker.
Yeah, I mean this is DS9's in its first season. It's not even or
second
early second season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking of that.
True.
And that's not, and she's not described, she's described the way we see her in the episodes where there's the flashbacks
Mm-hmm.
to when she was in the Resistance. We're talking about Kira, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I don't even know if we had seen her at that point. And so, anyway.
Well, no, but I mean, and they mention, I mean, when we're in Riker's head and he says that his someone named Kara or something, and it's
Yes.
like, oh wait a minute, because I think that's the only time that's kind of laid out there. But
yes, I've been trying to connect Turo with somebody on DS9, and I've yet to do it.
Okay.
So I don't know if
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't have, the book wouldn't have come out in early second season, because the first season of DS9 was in January 93, so second season started in 93.
Okay, so this would have been after the second season then. But
when
he'd
it
been
was
writing
written,
it during.
it would have been So he pretty much would have had season 1 to go on when he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
If he'd had a few more seasons, the Turo probably would have been Garrick.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I think we can kind of pin down when this book was written pretty tightly, because it's between Parallels and Journey's End, which is not that far apart from each other.
It has season 6 info, but not season 7 info.
It does have season 7 info.
Parallels is season 7, though. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
As is Attached.
Right.
Yeah, and it's before that.
No, because they mention Attached.
They mention it.
In the book. Yeah, because Picard's like, I'm so glad we don't have those things.
Oh, okay.
You can't read my mind anymore.
Yeah.
Well, then he must have. Well, do we know what month of 1994 this came out?
Just a second. I got this because this is the first edition, July of 94.
Okay. So
it's
it came out after season 7, and presumably the writers probably get access to the scripts just like they do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But we also know, didn't he write the novelization of Emissary based on what aired?
Did he?
Was that him or was that somebody else? You're looking it up, so I won't.
Yes, I am.
I might be off kilter, but yeah, this. So you know that it's after
J.M. Dillard, who did a bunch of the novelizations.
Well, then I don't know. I dreamed that. Never mind.
And it was using Michael Piller's teleplay.
Okay, so forget what I don't know where that came from. Right, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so we know it's after Parallels because Worf has that moment where he refuses to tell Riker about where the Borg were everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's before Journey's
End. And Worf figures everything out.
Worf figures out the parallel timelines immediately because of
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's before Journey's End because they mention that Wesley's still at the Academy.
Right. In his final
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Peter David didn't know about Journey's End when he wrote it. He just chose to set it before then.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes sense because it goes Journey's End, preemptive strike, all good things, right? Mm-hmm. Or am I missing one? So there's not time in there to put this.
Well, I mean,
you don't want to have it after
any
all
time
good
could have
things.
taken place between all of those episodes, but yes.
That's true.
Well, okay. Assuming that they were within a couple months of each other and lining it up with like the anyway,
I mean, they don't lead
into
each other, I guess is what I was saying.
No, they don't. No. Though the one, it leads into DS9 stories, but
yes.
Anyway,
I would argue that both Journey's End and Preemptive Strike lead into DS9 stories.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Although Journey's End leads to the Maquis, which leads to Preemptive Strike, which is how they did it on TV.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that's a whole other. Anyway, I had a point. Right.
Also, you're forgetting the excellent Firstborn and Bloodlines.
I knew I was forgetting something. Okay.
Are they after Journey's End?
They're between Journey's End and
that makes sense because we had to have the Maquis parts 1 and 2 on DS9
right
after Journey's End and before Preemptive Strike.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, well, Sisko is out dealing with the Maquis. These shenanigans are going on. I don't think this would have I don't think this would have hit as well, or maybe it would have been more farcical if it had been after All Good Things. Because
Yeah, I agree.
of the experience that Q and Picard have with the, so I think it has to happen before All Good Things. Anyway.
Also, it clearly
So-
does, because like they
I
absolutely
know,
would
yeah.
reference that.
But in terms of like making the story work,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have. Yeah.
Although there is that funny line. The only kind of real notes I took was I copied some of these lines down towards the end when this is after like Q, like Ghost Q is talking to Picard.
Yeah.
And Beverly says, "What was that all about?" And Picard says, "Fate of the universe." And her response is, "Again," which kind of,
Yeah.
I like. I mean, I'm not saying that means anything, but it plays a little bit like that. But it's just a fun line that I liked. There are a lot of those in this book.
Semi-unrelated, I was still looking at novelizations. The novelization of All Good Things by Michael Jen Friedman, he had 2 weeks to write it.
Okay, maybe I got those confused then.
Well, no, because it was also based on a draft of the script. But he only
so
had 2 weeks to write it, which is wild.
I hope he was well paid for that. He probably wasn't, because it's Star Trek, but...
And there wasn't enough in the script to pad it out for a hardback release, which is why the novelization includes some scenes with other characters, like because at some point you have a Wesley scene and a Pulaski scene and some other ones.
Yep.
And that's because he needed to add more pages, like a college student writing a paper.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the Pulaski scene and the Wesley scene were probably better than anything I've seen as padding. And I don't even remember what happened in them, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say
I
that.
remember that there is a Pulaski scene, but that's all I remember from that.
Remember. It's been a long time since I read that one, too.
Yeah, same.
As these were next to each other on the shelf when I grabbed this off the shelf, though, so I think this was published immediately after that. Would have been.
Well, that makes sense though. If it came out in July
May and June. May and July.
June, yeah. So yes, it would make sense that it would come out before. This was the good old days when you got multiple Star Trek novels a month.
And
Remember those times?
Like a hardcover at least 3 hardcovers a year.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they're all hardcovers now.
Was the most recent? I buy them ebook now, so I gotta stop doing that.
I also buy them ebook,
Anyway.
But I think
Important.
they're pretty much all hard. Oh, they do
They're trade paper.
They sometimes do hardcover and sometimes trade paper. That's a good point. Yeah.
And the trade papers cost as much as this did. I know that for sure.
But the Picard and Strange New Worlds ones have been hardcover.
Okay.
So I'm assuming the other Strange New Worlds novel. Is this only the second Strange New Worlds novel? I think.
Which title?
The one that just came out.
No, I think we're up to 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah, because there was the one with Una and the cat people. I forgot that we did a podcast episode on.
Okay.
Okay, but those were hardcover, so I'm assuming this one. Listeners, please tell me if I'm wrong. The only one I own is own in physical was the High Country, and that was a hardcover.
That was hard, yeah.
So I was assuming that they all were, because I know the Picard ones have been.
Yeah.
But the Discovery ones were trade paper.
Yeah.
So.
There's so few now.
But there's so few now, yeah.
Hardcover.
Let's get back to the multiple Star Trek novels a month, please. Or even just one a month.
Yeah, we'll start with one a month. Make it, particularly if we're going to have less on the air.
But the thing is, people don't read as much as they did 30 years ago.
No. So we'll have to just, I don't know, turn a novel into a podcast. Like.
Podcast novel would be
the podcast is
done one or two, right?
The podcast is probably coming at this point. They have the cast and everything.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was that was an announcement a few months ago.
Yeah.
That they had the cast for the Con podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway. So Q squared. We've already spoiled, but we should say, there's this book is 30 some odd years old. So
Yeah.
spoilers immediately.
This book is 31 years old. Let's not all think
Yeah.
about that too hard.
Yeah.
Did you see the meme going around yesterday and the day before yesterday about
That
how
we are
we're
now closer to 2050?
2050?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Also, did you know that we are farther away from the beginning of TNG, DS9, and Voyager as they are from the beginning of TOS?
Yep.
So timey-wimey. Yeah.
But yeah, this book is very timey-wimey. I
Mhm.
love how he fakes you out for a couple paragraphs.
Yes.
Because he just says Crusher. He doesn't say Jack Crusher. And in fact, he never says Jack Crusher. And that really annoys me because it makes it hard for me to... like, even like halfway through the book, he's still just calling him Crusher, and I don't like it.
Yeah, you have to... Wait, no.
But she's Beverly Howard in that timeline.
Yeah, I know, but... give the poor reader a bone. But anyway, yeah, he just calls him Crusher. So you think it's Beverly until you get some more dialogue.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, shall we give a brief what we're talking about in case people don't remember?
Sure.
Right. So we have two main track lines, shall we say, because that's how he terms them.
We eventually get
and
a
the first-
third, but yes.
Yes, we do eventually get a third, yeah. Track A is an alternate time track. I should say track B is our prime timeline. Track A is set about 7 years behind the prime timeline. So if you think of, it's the difference between Encounter at Farpoint and season 7. Jack Crusher, I'll be very specific, survived, and he gets the captaincy of the Enterprise because Picard is blamed for the Stargazer's destruction, and he ends up becoming Crusher's number 1.
Yes, because in this timeline, Picard freezes up and Jack Crusher saves the day with the Crusher maneuver, which is presumably what we call the Picard maneuver in the prime time.
Presumably. Although the Crusher maneuver, describing that almost feels more appropriate because it's kind of crushing, so. Joke.
And
right.
also,
so
Wesley died in this timeline.
Yes.
Yes.
As a child.
In an absolutely gut-wrenching scene
Yes.
that we will talk about later. Beverly Howard is the CMO of the Enterprise.
George
we have
LaForge
digressed.
is her nurse.
Yes.
Nurse. Yep.
I love that. Because it's like you're engineering the body instead of... But he's got real eyes, and he hated having the visor, and
Yeah.
that's a whole other thing. We've digressed enough, but I did want to mention no travelers in this universe.
At least not that we see. And you'd think they would show up for this.
Well, I guess that I was taking this as if this is the only Jack Crusher, then maybe that's something the travelers have to allow, is the death of one of their own. But, maybe that's a whole other thing, with Wesley dying.
Well,
as a
I don't
child.
think just because there are travelers, I don't necessarily know that Wesley as a child was a traveler yet.
No, but if they can see all of the timelines and they can see the future and the past, then they know who's going to be a traveler, and
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of imagine the travelers as going like, that kid looks like he's going to be one of us.
Maybe Peter David hadn't read Journey's End when he wrote this.
Maybe. Okay. So okay. Right. So, Will Riker was captured and tortured by the Romulans, leaving behind his wife Deanna and a son named Tommy, who had, if I read this correctly, had either just been born or not yet been born when he was captured.
I took it as not yet been born.
Yeah, I think that was it. Where's my list? Yep, Geordie's sight was restored with cloned eyes, and he became a nurse because he spent so much time around doctors. Worf was not rescued and raised by Sergei Roshenko and family, but grows to a powerful position in the Empire, from which he has avenged his parents' deaths and believed that the Romulans are plotting everything that he doesn't like. And Data is a positronic brain in a biological body.
Yep.
Yep.
Which
Just because.
Why not?
Well, they talk about Dr. Soong worked at the Daystrom Institute, so presumably
Yeah.
this is a timeline where Dr. Soong was not disgraced and therefore had access to different things.
Mhm.
Yep. So that's track A, and then track B is, as I said, prime timeline, sometime between Parallels and Journey's End. And
Memory Alpha says not long after the Pegasus.
Okay.
I think that's the next episode after Parallels, so that
Parallels,
makes sense.
I think so. So perfect. Okay. And then we're later joined by track C, which is a continuation of the universe seen in yesterday's Enterprise, in which the time-displaced Enterprise C is discovered too late.
Yep.
And the war with the Klingons has continued.
Yep.
You feel really bad when they describe Rachel Garrett starting the
Oh
distress
my
call,
God.
and then the
Yeah.
next scene is finding the ship lifeless.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it raises the hair on my arms. Oh, yeah. What other wonderful things could we have read if Peter David hadn't lost his Medicaid?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so that's there. I just wanted to give a little overview because track A is really where we spend, I think, most of the novel.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And like Thad said, I really enjoy the way you just get thrown right in.
Mhm.
And it's not like you would think that it's an alternate timeline, so that would be B and not A. And the first one we encounter is this all mixed up thing, and the way it's kind of slowly unspooled for you, and then it ends with Q showing up and like, this is all screwed up, and then you go back to where you're track B and you start over again in a way.
Yep.
So I have to say, while reading this, I was thinking we should have more alternate timeline Star Trek novels.
Oh, yeah.
Like what if novels. I think make the novel that's all about Jack Crusher and the Enterprise D. Like that sort of thing could be interesting. And it would help them with the constraints that they're under these days, where they can't really do too much creatively, where they're off on their own because the shows will, disregard it.
Yeah.
So I think it would be kind of cool if we got like some what if novels, like sort of like the Shatnerverse back in the day.
Or even some, since we're never going to get the film, some novelizations of Adventures of the Kelvin timeline or something.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, we got there were the comics, and then there were a couple of teen novels that just got
And we
released,
did get one novel, Kelvin novel, a few years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That had actually been written back in 2009, and then Paramount decided they didn't want to make Kelvin novels, so it was shelved for a decade. But
Yeah, I love that idea.
well, actually, that was it was mostly the licensing thing. Because the movies and the show were under different.
Yep.
Yeah. The show was under CBS, and the movies were under
Paramount.
under Paramount, and Simon and Schuster had and Simon and Schuster, which is also was owned by CBS, or Simon and Schuster was owned by one of them, had a contract and didn't have a contract with the other, and blah 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 blah.
And we're back to where we were at the beginning of the episode. Monopolistic practices are not good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think but I was reading alternate, because I honestly think that's more interesting to me than yet another novel set during TNG, or yet another novel set during Voyager, or yet another 3000th novel set during TOS.
Right.
A novel about an alternate timeline and other stuff, and you get to see all the differences. I think that would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially if we didn't have this is why this is happening, and and then we fix it by the end of the story or something like that.
No,
where it's
just make it an
you get thrown
timeline.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't gotten around to seeing the Marvel What Ifs, but that's basically how those are, right? They're just
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So. They do actually. I have not seen the second season, so I don't remember. I don't know. But I know the first season they're all separate, and then they eventually all converge into one story. But
but they don't reconnect with the other. With the
well, like there's like
Marvel
transferring timeline. People are transferring among timelines, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's like the last third of this book.
Yeah, and think about the Coda trilogy.
Yeah.
Because we saw a couple different timelines in that. And I liked how that one called back to the alternate timeline that we saw in Headlong Flight. So, yeah. Anyway, alternate timelines, cool. Give us more of them, please.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, more books in general. Has it just been the one book this year so far?
Has it?
There's another one coming. There's a David Mack book coming soon.
No, there was another book right like in January, wasn't there? Because we talked to Positively Track about it, or was that last year?
That was last year.
Okay, well there we go.
That was the one. That was the Cat People one.
Oh, all right. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, the Una McCormick one was Asylum, which we read last year, and then Toward the Night, which is the third Strange New Worlds book, was the one that just came out back in April.
I just started that, yeah.
And then Ring of Fire by David Mack is coming in October, and I want to say there's a Picard book coming. No, there hasn't. No, not listed as.
No,
maybe not. Surely there's a TOS book coming. There's always a TOS book coming. This is not the right page to be looking at. Hold on.
That's all right.
Upcoming productions on the Memory Alpha page. That's the page I want to be looking at.
Maybe we'll luck out and there'll be some unpublished Peter David works that...
Yeah, no, Toward the Night has so far the only novel this year. And then we're getting another one in October. And I'm looking to see if we're getting anything else. Paperback release of the autobiography of Spock. But that doesn't count.
Yeah, and that's also a different publisher.
Yeah, that's Titan. Yeah, no, it's just the two novels this year.
Well, that sucks. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
Opportunity to go back and read.
That's true. Yeah, Carl, you have plenty of time now to read.
I do.
Although
And
you haven't been
listeners?
reading any of the new ones anyway, so I guess this doesn't change.
Well, you can pick and choose. You could,
Plus, you
read
have that
Destiny, at least.
you have that whole relaunch series of the shared continuity post Voyager that is a huge number of books. A lot of them really good.
107.
107?
107.
Wow.
It's almost 20 years worth.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's a
I had a
ridiculous
spreadsheet
flowchart that
going at one point. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to send you a flowchart.
Okay.
It's absurd. There you go. Just texted that to you.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The almighty Star Trek Lit First Reading Order flowchart. Created by Thrawn and 8 of 5.
Presumably, those are their names on some sort of, on probably Trek BBS.
All right, so I have some reading to do. That's cool.
Yeah.
And this does include some books from before the relaunch books that were retroactively added in by other books tying into them.
Okay.
Start with the Time 2 series and then just go from everything that was published from that moment forward.
All right.
Yeah,
But anyway.
That's the red Next Generation one part on the left there.
Time to be. Yep.
Those are Time 2 books were written as an attempt to explain how we got from the end of Insurrection to the beginning of Nemesis.
Mhm.
Ah,
It's not bad.
It's not. No, they're pretty good actually. And
I mean,
there is
some moments better than others, but
there are yes, well that's true for anything. But yeah, there are also important things that happen in those books that will continue to influence events in all of the other books.
okay.
all the way down to Coda.
I will.
Yes,
I will start
all the
there.
way to Coda.
I figured that was the last one I should read.
Yes, Coda is
Hence the name.
Coda.
Mhm.
The Coda series trilogy is the end of the Litverse. It is
Yeah.
literally the end, as in the universe ends.
Ends.
Right. No. I was aware of that.
And they're not listed on this flowchart
No.
because the flowchart's only through 2020. So there's actually a couple more books that are missing, not just Coda. There's one more TNG book and a Voyager book that are not listed on this before Coda.
All right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Back to this book.
back to this book.
We digress.
Yes. Well, we're talking about. The problem is we talk about the Star Trek. We digress to the Star Trek novels all the time
Mhm.
when we're talking about the show, and it's 10 times worse when we're talking about a novel.
And this one isn't even in that shared continuity.
No.
Well, technically, any of the books are any of the books that fit in the canon of the show are also in the shared continuity of.
Okay, well, yes. This one was not nullified by Coda.
That's true.
So I enjoy the idea that, I mean, we have the track A stuff that starts the book, and then we jump over to track B, where it's sort of like an episode of TNG, and we have this scientist who comes on board who wants them there because they constantly run into these temporal anomalies, and she calls out like you, and she goes, there's a section where they're having a conference, and she's going through like this whole list of like, first you did this, and then you did this, and what the hell is even this thing? Like what
We made it up.
And-
That was the temporal causality loop.
yeah,
Mhm.
what
Dr.
is a temporal
Martinez,
causality
yeah.
loop?
Yeah.
I think that's the meeting when Worf mentions that the weirdest timeline to him was when he was married to Counselor Troy.
Yes.
And Troy says, "Oh, that must have been so hard for you."
So
Yeah.
clearly this is before the very end of season 7 because they're dating at that point.
Yeah. Which was such a weird thing.
That was a choice.
I will
It was a
continue
choice.
to complain that one of the few books we have gotten in the last couple years was a Worf Troy romance.
Mhm. I mean, really? Really? Really?
Yeah.
And that was after season 1 of Picard, if I remember correctly.
It was.
So, like, talk about pointless.
I mean, a book set during TNG that I enjoyed would have been fine.
Yeah.
The DS9 book that came out at the same year,
was
that
good.
one was great. I loved
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, yeah, so Trelane shows up,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
and
doing what Q would have done during the Farpoint mission in
Yep.
the Prime timeline.
oh, yes, on track A. Okay, sorry.
Yep.
I got ahead of myself.
Because they have no idea who the Q are.
Yeah.
Right. And Beverly tells Captain Jack Crusher that they should probably go look at what's going on at Farpoint Station because it's kind of weird. When you get time.
Yeah, and that's the first clue that these things are going to be converging, because you'll notice in each timeline they're all going to Terminus.
Yeah.
Yep. Eventually, yeah.
Similarities with all good things, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities to all good things, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get into track B, and the first thing we have is Hikaru Sulu is fencing.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought this was
You're like,
another timeline at first.
Me too, when I first read it. You go, now what? This had TNG on the front. Yeah. But I liked that. Picard
And-
fencing with Sulu on the holodeck. That was a nice...
And he
touch.
calls back to it at the end.
I was going to say, to borrow one of Thad's favorite phrases, we get Chekhov's clumsy fencing maneuver.
That's especially amusing in this particular instance.
Yes.
Maybe that's why Sulu saw through it, because Chekhov did it so much.
Maybe.
Yeah. He was there when it was invented. And we get a good bit of Guinan in this too, which makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, let's not talk about every scene in the book. I hope.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
No.
There are some moments. I know. We wanted to discuss a couple of points that kind of made us cringe, and when Trelane says to Worf, "Not quite human, are you? Some bizarre form of Nubian?" Inferring, of course, that Nubians are not human. And I understand you're supposed to be like, "Oh, he's an ass," you know.
Yeah, and it's also
you're supposed to read that as terrible.
He's an ass. Also, we're supposed to remember that his knowledge of humanity ends at like the 19th century.
Right. It's perfect context-wise.
Which is the same
where
way.
I'll raise my hand and say this is one of the reasons why I don't like the idea of Trelane showing up in Strange New Worlds, but we'll move on from there.
Which is
it'll be okay.
A similar. I mean, it's similar to why when in TOS when Abe Lincoln calls Uhura the word that I'm probably not going to use actually.
No,
but,
don't use that word. Yeah.
Negress.
He does in fact call her charming at the same time.
Yes.
He does.
Yeah. It's not a used word now, but it's not what it could have been.
No. That is true. And they did use that word at that time, but
so we have Trelane show up and they don't know what to do with him. And then Q shows up right behind him and is like, I need your help babysitting.
Mm-hmm. I love the scene when they go to the ready room and Q is like desperate and Picard just laughs at him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what's on the cover.
I think that's the blurb, right?
Yeah. We go, Picard, you've got to help me. What was all Picard could get out? With what? With who? With Trelane. He's driving me nuts. I can't take it anymore. And Picard did something then that he had never done before. He laughed in Q's face.
Yeah.
So good. Back when they used to put that little blurb on the back of the book.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is already nostalgia. Anyway.
That's how all hardcover books used to all have that back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they would have the description inside the jacket, but then in the back would be an excerpt,
be a little blurb to
draw you in.
Mm-hmm. And and in that same scene, we find out that Picard was not entirely sure that the events of
Tapestry
were real. And we found out that was real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, how do you define real?
Okay, so I'm saying it that way because where do you go? Picard says that was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess, define.
And Q basically says that. Like, he's like, well, it depends on what you mean by real. Or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm. And we learned that Q came up with the duck-billed platypus.
Yes.
That idea to God.
I like
creation.
that, yeah.
I love that. It's perfect. And then
I like the line. I like the line earlier when he says, "We want Trelane to stay, hang around you guys and learn about humanity." And he says, Picard says, "I want you to understand, Q. I'm doing this against my better judgment." And Q says, "What a startling coincidence! That's precisely what God muttered to me when He created humanity."
Yes. Which, talking about how Peter David connected things, gets picked up in that Q trilogy that he did in the early aughts, I think. Because that is all about Q's youth, and he hangs around with the entity that is supposed to be God, and then the entity that, the Judeo-Christian Islamic Earth God. And then he hangs out with the entity that is the god of Shakari. Not the god of Shakari, the god of Final Frontier.
Yep.
And then a couple of other entities as well. Which those are good too. So yes, so they do what they always do when children show up in the Enterprise and they don't have somewhere to put them. They take them to school.
Yeah. It's the only place they have kids.
Yeah.
I like how the kids really like his sword.
Yes.
And it's not very kind to Alexander in here either, but that's okay.
Well, no.
Alexander
I mean, it's not
says,
okay, but
I wish my father was
contextually.
interesting like you.
Like you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I love it.
That's my second favorite line about Worf in this book. My favorite.
I know what your favorite one is.
Being, and there are many things that Mr. Worf was, but he was not silly, or something like that. What was it exactly?
It says, and if there was one thing that Mr. Worf was definitely was not, it was silly.
Yes.
And I very vividly remembered him creating the Winnie the Pooh characters in the classroom.
Yes.
Which I love. And
Riker says it'll be all right. I suspect he has very little brain.
Very little brain.
Yes. So when I sat down to read this now, I was thinking that it was all unnamed reference. It's a plush bear and a plush tiger.
Yeah, it's
but no, he
interesting,
actually
because
they actually got the rights to say
at that
it.
time.
Yeah. And there's not the usual when there's reference or excerpt, there's usually a thing on the copyright page that says, licensed under. So I don't know if they weren't being as strict about putting that on the copyright page at that time, or if it went under the radar.
Yeah,
or if
the
it
first
was being
book
published by
1926.
Well, that just went out of because
Yeah.
we had that ridiculous movie.
Blood and Honey.
Yeah. There's a sequel
right.
coming to that too.
Yeah.
And what's the other one that's just going into public domain that they're doing a horror of? Damn it, I don't remember. Anyway,
I don't know.
yeah. So I don't know if maybe it was under the Simon and Schuster imprint, one of the publications of that.
I
So that maybe,
doubt it, but maybe.
at the time it could have been for licensing, like in the U.S. particularly, or something like that. So anyway, that's an awesome scene.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I hadn't even thought about the copyright thing.
Yeah.
But even if it was under like Simon and Schuster published, you'd still think they would like have to like do something on it.
Yeah, but it would have been less difficult to get approval, maybe. Okay, so he runs into Guinan in the in 10 Forward, and Geordi gets involved.
Winnie the Pooh was published in the United States under E.P. Dutton, which became Penguin.
Yeah.
So would likely
No,
have
that's
never
not-
gone to Simon and Schuster.
Well, okay. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There probably isn't anyone you could ask at this point.
Nope. Oh well.
I mean, the
Oh.
editor of Star Trek novels at the time is dead. Peter David's dead. There's A.A. Milne's dead.
Was when this was published.
Yes,
Yep.
that too.
So Geordi tries to get involved, not realizing that this guy who is arguing with Guinan is a Q, and Trelane waves at him and says, "Go away," and Geordi vanished. And then we find out where Geordi went.
Yep.
Which was, for some reason, Deanna Troy's shower.
The reason is because Trelane thought it was hilarious.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, that's, yeah.
And later is the conversation where he's like, and I'm sorry, it was, I lost my balance. I needed to grab on the first thing, So, yes, it's implied very much that he grabbed onto Troy's breasts.
Yes.
Yeah. And
teenage me liked this a little bit more than I think grown-up me does.
10-year-old me also liked it a lot. Yeah.
I mean, it is funny. It's
Yes.
a
It is,
very
yes.
prurient way, and it also, on the other side of that, let me be devil's advocate here. When Troy and Geordie are talking about it later, she says, I'm not concerned about this. It was obviously not intended as, an assault or anything like that. It was not intended that you're, oh, here we go. Yeah, so she said, when I screamed, it was purely because I was startled, which I think is somewhat understandable. As for the rest of it, well, we Betazoids are not overly burdened with modesty when it comes to our bodies.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah.
From that standpoint. So I think, it is kind of
and I laughed
boobies,
when
but...
Geordie thinks about asking her out to dinner and then
yes.
doesn't.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it's right after that that the A.A. Milne characters show up.
Mm-hmm.
We should go on our own expedition.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so then things spiral out of control from there, and Picard insists that Trelane and Q leave, and Trelane sulks off to his quarters.
Yep.
And then gets pulled into the mirror.
By himself.
Yes. And that's when Worf was not silly.
Yes. Yes. If he had thought to put his ear against the mirror and he had strained mightily, he might have barely heard a very distant and somewhat pitiful shriek for help. But it would never have occurred to him to do so. Why should it have? It would have been a very silly notion. And if there's one thing Mr. Worf definitely was not, it was silly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I can
Forgive
hear
me,
Worf's...
I have a lot of this book in my head, so I'm going to just be
I can hear Worf saying that. If there is one thing
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
not, it is silly.
Klingons are never silly.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is where we get the hint that there's something bigger happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not just funny.
No. And when Trelane does come back, he's very different.
Yes.
So then we jump back to track A and the house of Loxwana Troy. And little Tommy coming home from school after having beat up on somebody who called him...
Who said he lacked depth. His
lacked
thoughts
depth,
lacked
yes.
depth.
I enjoy the line. It says he comes home and Deanna's mad, and Loxana says, "I thought I would brace you because your mother is definitely not happy." This to Tommy did not seem a particularly useful endeavor on Loxana's part. Having Loxana Troy prepare him for his mother's ire was somewhat like making ready for a summer squall by first endeavoring to survive a tactical nuclear strike.
Yeah. So then this is how we find out that Will has been... Well, I mean, we knew from earlier
Will
in the book.
Yeah, from earlier.
But
They figured out who Will Riker is, and they're going to reunite him with his family. So the Enterprise is going to be picking him up, and Troy and Tommy will head out to meet the Enterprise on a Klingon freighter.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think this is one of the first of many jokes about Worf's name.
Yes. But it's
when they say wharf, like where ships go, is a line that, for whatever reason, has always been stuck in my head.
Me too.
And then when Picard says his name, like for the next chapter or two, it's spelled WHARF.
It's funny because Loxana in the Prime timeline calls him Woof.
Woof, yeah.
Yes,
that's right.
Oh, I didn't even
Mr.
think about that. Yeah, Mr. Woof. All right.
We get I believe this is the chapter where we get a Wyatt Miller name drop.
Yes,
he's been nosing around.
He's been sniffing around. Yeah. So I guess he never went to be with the plague people.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, okay. Actually, no, this is beginning of season 1. He technically hasn't had a chance to meet the plague people yet.
No, he has
Oh,
not
yeah.
yet. No.
He probably won't, just because the timeline's different, and he won't be on the Enterprise. But
Right. So then we go back to the Enterprise on track A with Q, where everything is screwed up. And
yeah, Q has climbed through the wall and is trying to see what they can do to fix things. And
Well, this is where they introduce the Heart of the Storm
mhm.
concept,
mhm.
which is the kind of the tapping into chaos as a
Yes.
thing and generating power from it. And
Yeah, and Trelane casts Q back to the beginning of time, basically.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy, because we
Mhm.
get the we find out that it was
so amazing. I love this connection.
We find out that it was
Mhm.
Q that inhabited Gary Mitchell,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and they even call out James R. Kirk.
James R. Kirk, and so they're in
Yes.
some odd timeline that we don't know what it is yet,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
or ever
Yep.
at all, really. But yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, I just love this. That yes, we find out that it wasn't actually the galactic barrier that made Gary Mitchell and was it Elizabeth Daner?
Elizabeth Daner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go all silver-eyed. It was Q.
Yep.
Well, and he killed everyone on the Valiant too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to inhabit them and wasn't able to do it because he didn't have the strength to do it yet.
Yeah.
Or didn't quite know what he was doing.
And he discovers that anytime that almost any human he inhabits tries to use the power for evil, he's like, that was clearly a flaw in the human race. And
Mm-hmm. But which made him interested for later.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he remembers that Riker didn't get tempted by it.
But he also doesn't remember who Riker is. He's like, who's
Right.
Riker?
Yeah.
Who's Riker?
Yeah. And actually, yeah, they line that on track A. That isn't.
So it is track A. That makes sense.
That
Yeah.
works.
I mean, it's probably both track A, B, and C, because the timeline probably hasn't diverged in any of them yet.
True, unless we want to say that James R. Kirk exists in that timeline, you know. This is also the part of the book where we get where we Jean-Luc Beverly shippers get
Oh yeah.
a payoff.
did you?
So yes, in track A, Commander Picard is getting it on with Beverly Howard.
Well, we find out they had been in the past too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever happened that made him flinch, that made Picard flinch on the Stargazer, really had an effect on his character.
Yeah.
Really had an effect on who he was. And that's lovely reading that in parallel with Tapestry.
Yeah.
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 I'm glad that we get Picard's perspective in track A.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it could have just all been written from Jack's perspective, and it would not have been nearly as interesting.
No.
Because then it would have... I think we as Trek fans probably wouldn't have seen it, even the way he was describing it with, you know, but it still would have felt worse.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't great. At least to start with, yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting.
So they're getting it on, and they're hiding it from Jack because they know that it would destroy Jack to find out about it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're right.
Valid.
Yeah.
And then we
Okay.
find out that that's true.
Here's the point, though. Would it I don't know for sure that it would have destroyed Jack the way that it does, because we call out multiple times that it was the addition of the chaos that Trelane was adding that was really causing Jack to destabilize there. So I think, yes, Jack, it would not have been good if Jack found out. It would not have gone well, but I don't think it would have ended with murder-suicide.
Yeah. And we have to remember, too, that Trelane gave him the information in the least tactful way possible.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that whole scene gets led on for so long. Like, you know what's gonna happen for, like, several pages of just Trelane taunting him. Like, at some point you're just like, oh, get on, just show him already.
yeah. Just any time now. Just want to stop. Yeah. It's murder. Well, we're not there yet, but
I guess it's manslaughter-suicide.
it's manslaughter-suicide.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to think about that. I'm like, yeah. Okay. Gods, anybody that hasn't read this book has definitely turned off this podcast by now.
God, why would
come
you
back
keep
next
listening to
week
this
when you?
podcast? Yeah.
So we get Deanna and Tommy onto the Track B Enterprise. They're going to reunite with Riker. Worf is there. There's a really funny scene with Mr. Mott.
Where Riker almost kills him.
Yeah.
Just because from his PTSD, not because he disliked
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So,
of course.
right. So the Klingons, of course, do not know how to handle a human who's been tortured for over a decade.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's a scene where Worf's like, well, maybe you should get him, cleaned up a bit. You should have a barber.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, nobody... What always bothered me about this, from the first time I read this book, nobody told Mott what was going on.
Yeah.
No.
Because he immediately just starts going like, what has this man been doing to his hair? And he's been chewing on his nails, and he just starts basically insulting him in a way that feels like... I'm trying to think, like a 90s sitcom that's set in a hairdresser shop.
Yeah.
In a salon. So it's funny in that, but when you're reading it in the context of who he's talking to, so of course, as soon as he comes at him with the scissors, Riker just jumps on him.
It reminds me of that scene in The Rock when Sean Connery's getting his hair cut after being let out of Alcatraz with that guy, because it's a grunge thing, But anyway.
But I do like the way Geordi handles it by saying, I'll cut his hair poorly and tell everybody it was you.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yep.
Right. So then we end up back in the Prime timeline where Trelane kills Dr. Martinez and then brings her back to life.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yes.
That was. And especially brutal with Troy being there and having to be the one to decide. Although the scene with the ensign that she is
that was
she's
good.
Talking to about the fear of loss,
And she disappears.
Fear of abandonment, excuse me. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That was good.
Is this a demonstration? Yeah. So there's a little bit, and going back to, this is one of the things that Peter David did so well. You could be laughing on one page and absolutely horrified or in tears on the next page.
Yep.
And it didn't feel like it wasn't, what's the word for it? It didn't feel off kilter. It was, it was like, oh, because that's how life is, but yeah.
Well, and that scene in the turbolift shaft, like the way he does it, because first he does like the Rosalind Shays on LA Law thing where she walks into the turbolift and it's not there and she falls. Yeah. And then she's suspended there, and then Trelane drops her, like they say, like a yard or something, just to kind of freak her out. And then he does it again, and that's when he actually lets her fall. And yeah, and then when Troy's like, I want you to bring her back, and he does, but it's like just as she is, like at the bottom of the thing. So, and that's right when he sends Guinan outside the ship too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he just brings her back to life, but not like in any way healed.
And then drops her on the ground.
Oh. Yeah.
But then you go, it's the 24th century. They'll be able to fix her.
Mm.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
And they will, but
And
it'll
I think-
take some time.
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they do. Like right before everything hits the fan, you see that she is healing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why this just popped in my head, but somewhere in this book is the bit where Picard is going into 10 forward and he runs into children
Yes.
and he tells them
Yes.
that it behooves them to act accordingly.
Yeah.
And the kid says,
Yes.
Our
My
teacher
teacher
tells us
says
that horses have
hooves.
Have
behoofs.
behoobs. Yes.
And he decides not to correct them because he knows it'll prolong
Because
the
it would make the
conversation.
conversation longer. Yes. Yes.
I like
Now-
how they did this with Guinan, where they had Track C Guinan tell Picard that
Yes.
the ship shouldn't be peaceful.
And shouldn't
Yes.
have kids.
Yes.
And that it's a ship of war.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
That was excellent flip-flop there.
Yeah. And, wait a second. And that's one of the must be getting old running bits.
Mhm.
There's a couple of those, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, and there's a couple other places where I'll be mentioning this, but because of this book, anytime I hear the word behooves or read the word behooves, all I comes into my head is a little kid saying to Jean-Luc Picard, my teacher says horses have behooves. So
And speaking of Guinan, I when all the timelines converge into one broken mess, and they say in 10 forward, Guinan drops the drink and screams. In 10 forward,
Yes.
Guinan drops the drink and screams. And then in 10 forward, the whoever named
A random
bartender
person.
does this, and it's fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then later there's the one chapter, I think, that's just like Lieutenant Barclay came running into sickbay carrying Guinan, help her.
And then the same
Lieutenant
thing
Barclay
again.
came running into sickbay.
Mhm.
Karen Johnson.
Yeah.
10 forward.
Oh, yes,
Mrs.
Karen Johnson, yep.
Poured another drink.
Poured another drink and smiled at a pair of incoming patrons.
This,
God,
Yeah.
Peter David was so good. He was so good at this.
Yeah.
yeah. And amidst all of this, we have tortured Riker reintroduced to his wife and doesn't recognize her, which is another gut-wrenching scene.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right before everything kind of goes to hell.
Yeah, because then when he runs out of the room, he's immediately replaced by Prime Riker, who
Prime
does
Riker, yeah.
recognize her.
Yeah. But that we don't get that until a few pages down the line.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so because then we have the no, that's when that's not when Track C is introduced. Anyway. No, that's when we get the interlude with Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I find it interesting that most of the Track C denizens, their response is pretty much all, oh, we need to kill these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed Track C Picard goes to the bridge, sees Worf, shoots at him, dives in the turbolift and leaves. And then like 5 minutes later, Track C Riker goes to the bridge, sees Worf, shoots at him, dives in the turbolift and leaves. And Data says something like, the odds of the same thing happening twice like that are very low or something.
Yes. Yes.
But the best part is that in between that, Track B Picard comes on the bridge and he gets tackled by Worf. He's like, Mr. Worf, are you insane?
Oh, I found the bit with the kids, and I forgot that it was the little girl who made the Captain Picard doll that Riker was carrying around.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, right, because he goes down to 10 forward because Track C Guinan had shown up.
Yep. And Track B Guinan is like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, we should mention that after the scene when Dr. Martinez is brought back and Guinan's sent outside the ship and stuff is when Trelane attacks Q, and Q steps through the fabric of the universe, and that's how he ends up in the Track A inside the bulkhead.
Yes, I love that because it's almost like he unzips it. That's not the word they use, but
it reminds me of like his Dark Materials, the way that they cut through the fabric of things and move
The
through
subtle
it.
knife. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
cool. I need to
I
read
should
those.
reread those.
We better be careful. We're going to start doing a book podcast.
There are worse things.
Well, that's true.
Besides, we might run out of Star Trek in 2 years.
Oh, gods. Well, then we'll just have to start with the shared continuity or something. I don't know.
Oh man, we could do all 107 of them.
Well, if we
That'll
if we
take us a
needed to
while.
if we needed to have a contract to guarantee that we'd keep it going. All right.
We do a book a month for a good long time. 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd mentioned, how when you read the book the first time you sympathized with Trelane, and I definitely felt the same way. And now that I have kids reading it, I can see it from the parent's perspective, and I love the way he writes some of these things. There's this really amazing section that has no punctuation and is just kind of like a poem almost. When Trelane actually uses this machine to tap into the heart of the storm and everything. But I love this little bit when he's sounding like a petulant child about his parents, but it's written like as an omnipotent being would say it. Whereas, how many times did he complain of that to his parents? How many times did he voice his frustration? Did they listen to him? Did they understand? No. How often did he say to them, I have nothing to do? Did they sympathize? Did they agree? No. Study your predators, they said. Brush up on your particle physics, they said. Clean your quadrant, they said. Yep. No sympathy at all. Love it. I love it.
Yeah, so we do find out now that this timeline's Trelane, that we are seeing the start of this, that one of the timeline's Trelanes has built a machine to harness the power of chaos and gets sucked into the heart of the storm.
Yeah.
And we know this because Q has managed to resolve himself into a non-corporeal entity at this point and gets to watch.
Yeah. This is the part that has the no punctuation, and if you guys will allow my conceit, I want to read this.
I'm sorry, right before that, Q talks about how he spends some time as a non-corporeal entity meeting other non-corporeal entities.
Yes.
And there was the one that only wanted to make him afraid and hateful. And I'm assuming that's the one from Day of the Dove.
Yeah, I would
maybe,
think.
yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. Yeah. See, this is what we were talking earlier about how Peter David just makes these connections and he doesn't make a thing of it. It's just there. And if you catch it, it's how that sort of thing should be done.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not...
And I very much still enjoy modern Star Trek novels, new Star Trek novels. The new authors are great, but they definitely do go out of their way to explain their references these days. You'll get at least a paragraph of exposition explaining any reference that they make.
They're assuming that it's not the Trek fans that were reading this stuff in the 90s.
Yeah. To be fair, there was less Star Trek to know about in the 90s.
Sure.
True.
But also, I mean, that reference that you mentioned about the non-corporeal being, like, if you don't get it, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't affect your ability to follow the story or anything like that. And we're not going to hang a lantern on this thing. It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like this salon thing, like the Hera thing, like, yeah. All right. I'm going to have some, this is Peter David's beautiful prose. We're going to have some teacher reading time or something. I don't know whatever that's called in school. And then I snark. All right. So this is Q encountering the heart of the storm after he has that little petulant talk with his parents. Saying, it's mine, I made it, I can play with it if I want to, and you can't stop me. And with that, he plunged himself into hell. Now, this is mostly not punctuated, so where I stop to breathe may not be quite what's supposed to be, but reality crumbled around him and was replaced with unreality. It was as if it were a living, breathing thing, the unreality of it all. The unreality saw the intruder, saw the maggot who thought to explore it, to tame it, to understand its mysteries and command its power. Chaos stretched far and wide, the laws of physics and sanity mere abstract notions that had no place there. And into the heart of the storm plunged Trelane. He was greeted rudely. The assault came quickly, brutally, from everywhere and everywhen. Trelane pushed through barriers that lesser beings would not have been able to attain, and wiser beings would have known to leave well alone. And then he saw and he understood, and the universe. And he was and was not, and he was and was not. And oh, look, there was a piece of the universe fragmenting off, and there was another growing to take its place, and it was constantly shifting. And Trelane did not know where to look first, so he looked everywhere first and everywhere last, and in between he looked everywhere else, and everywhere was looking back at him and invading him and coming in through everywhere, through every aspect of his brain and his heart and his soul and everything that made him, and he was and would ever be and never was and never would be. And he experienced it firsthand as the heart of the storms pulled him deep into his embrace, sucking him in, sucking him dry, and filling him up with himself, and saying to him, okay, here, look, here's the deal. You want to know it. You want to know it all. You want to know it all and feel it all and experience it all and understand it all and command it all. Well, that's fine. That's terrific with me. That's okay, Ginger Peachy, Righta-Rooney. And how's the weather there? Oh, it's storming out there? Well, it's okay because it's storming here too. And Trelane arrived, and Trelane left, and Trelane was trapped in there forever, and Trelane was stopped just in time, and Trelane never built the machine, and Trelane was never born, and Trelane was much younger, and this never would happen, and Trelane was much older looking back on this and pondering what a fool he had been, and it was amazing he had lived that long, and he hadn't lived that long. So here's the deal, where were we? Oh yes, everywhere we were, everywhere. And there was laughter everywhere, perhaps all around, and perhaps it was coming from him, and perhaps it was coming from everywhere. And the heart of the storm raged, and it wasn't just a storm, it was the universe, the pulsing heart of the universe. My God, who? He had entered the heart of the universe and the breathing core of the multiverse that surrounded him, that tied all things together and made them what they were and what weren't and shouldn't be. And so here's the deal, and it swamped him and submerged him, and raging storm pummeled him and ripped him open and gutted him and turned him inside out and outside in, and he was giggling and screaming and howling and crying and bleeding and laughing and being conceived and being born and growing up and dying, and he was dying and being born again. So here's the deal, and it's a fluid deal, because look around you and at the universe. It's a vast, weak place that's constantly expanding far beyond anything it was supposed to be, because you see, it was never meant to be permanent in any shape or form, and it was never meant to be anything more than a first draft. Why, look, it's still a work in progress. Look at it, it's barely stitched together, and why, it wouldn't take much more than a pull here or a tug there to get the whole thing to unravel, and won't that be nice? Won't that be ever so nice to pull it apart and stitch it back together again with something that holds better, a nice cable stitch perhaps, or perhaps stronger wire instead of the flimsy thread that's currently holding it together. This could be cut so easily, and you just pull on this end and watch the other end out of it and slither right out and dangle. It's all so weak when you see someone comes along and, damn, where have you been until now, Trelane? Because you've been feeling misunderstood, haven't you? And no one cares about you, and you know what you want to do, and why won't they let you? Well, guess what? That's not going to be a problem anymore. No, it's not. No, because there's no way in hell they're going to... There's no way in... Oh, I got through all that without screwing it up. Okay. There's no way in hell they're not going to let you, and they won't be able to stop you, and try as they mightily try, as they wish, it's not going to happen. Because you're mine and I'm yours, and I'm going to give you precisely what you always wanted, and we're going to make a multiverse and do them proud, except the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this whole multiverse and pare it down to one, because it's confusing, don't you think, with all these alternate time tracks and parallel universe, and who can keep any of it straight except... Well, here's a thought, here's a notion. Tell me what you think of this, Trelane, my baby, my angel, my sweet thing, and let me touch you here and stroke you there, and in ways that your parents never let you know about. And this is going to be absolutely exquisite. Get this, listen to me, my delectable thing. You're so delicious, I could just eat you up, and here's what you'll do after I'm through, because you'll understand. When I'm through with you, you'll understand everything, because everything is anything and anything is everything, and up and down are completely relative. And come here, let me enfold you, let me enrapture you, let me do you, because I am waiting here for so long at the heart of the storm, and it's been forever since I had a lover as succulent as you, and you could be the one, the best, the greatest of all. The last time there was one like you, my God, who? That the end of everything and the beginning of everything, and he or she or it or whatever it was ultimately destroyed, and the universe went with it, but that's okay, because another one started, and another, and it's getting out of control, and it's time to bring it under control again. then bring it down to a manageable level, because I think we all have to agree that this is getting a little ridiculous. The seams are showing. Don't you see the seams are showing? And what it seems like, oh yes, touch me there, Trelane, and see things as they have never been. Let me cram it down you, up you, sideways, and throughout your entire being, here, there, and I'm everywhere, and you see how it comes together and comes apart, and we'll come together, and when we come apart, everything else will too. You've waited, you've wanted, as have I. War god, little boy, not a little boy anymore, all grown up, all mine. Come to me in thunder in the heart of the storm, and mine, give it to me, yes, everything we are and want, and there's so much need. What's that? What's that pulling for you to try to pull you out? And they don't know what they're trying to do, and you're mine, and come here, Trelane, and let me show you. And you've seen some now, and you'll all come to me, come to me. And then there's a little more description of what's happening. And it ends with, finally he looked up at his parents. He was quite mad. Not quite mad as in extremely angry. No, quite mad as in quite mad. As a hatter. As a loon. As every psychotic killer or irrational creature throughout the entire history of everything, all wrapped up and combined into one package and tied off with a bow. Well, not quite exactly. Actually, he was much madder than that. I just love it. So, thank you for indulging me there. Here's the deal, and it's a fluid deal, really got stuck in my head. And it is another thing where if I hear the word, the phrase, here's the deal, that whole paragraph is in my head, and it's just... But, I mean, this level of writing, it was so good.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the derailment, because everything goes to hell again.
And everybody's trying to kill each other.
Except for Track A, Picard, and Beverly, who are just trying to not let anybody know what's going on.
And all three Datas who are working together.
Yes.
I love that. And having a conversation about what's different in each of their timelines.
Yes.
And how the humanoids, the best thing about being a humanoid is having sex. And he's like,
Yep.
I had frequent liaisons with Lieutenant Natasha Yar.
It's like, I have been told to keep this quiet.
Your secret is safe with us, said the Datas.
Yep. And yes, and this is when Trelane explains to Jack that he's alone. And he does it while he's watching them. How is this for demanding? In every other universe, not only did you die, but your son Wesley lived, a fine strapping lad, but not here. Not here, because since you lived, fate had to find some way to make certain that Jean-Luc and Beverly were together.
Yeah, I still think he was lying.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, it works.
Mm-hmm.
It works perfectly that he would have been. It fits the character perfectly and what he was trying to do. But that didn't occur to me the first time I was reading this book, and that became part of my headcanon, so.
Fair enough. All right, so we have Track A, Worf trying to kill Track B, Riker, because he thinks that he's an imposter of Track A, Riker.
Yes. It's a Romulan plot, because everything's a Romulan plot to Track A, Worf.
And I like how Riker manages to lock him in the holodeck.
It's like
and we'll have
in a labyrinth,
and this will be Chekhov's holodeck maze later.
Yes.
And yeah, Track C, Picard and Riker, after going to the bridge and trying to shoot Worf, have gone down to the armory and are now loaded for bear and are running around the ship. And Track C, Tasha Yar, is also out for blood.
With a really bad haircut.
She does have a bad haircut in yesterday's Enterprise.
Right.
So that's absolutely accurate. And Track B, Worf figures out what's going on because he just had parallels a couple episodes ago.
Yep.
I
Yep.
like how he gets Tasha from track A to trust him by telling her about her
Yes.
sister.
Sister, yeah.
I also like once he's explaining the different timelines that she's like, and who are you in my timeline? He's like, assistant security
Assistant
chief.
security chief. Yes.
Yeah. Although they probably never go to the Armus planet because Troy's shuttle never crashes there. So
Oh, that's true.
Mm.
yeah.
So yeah, so track C Riker gets was killed because he was about to kill track B Riker. Was that it, or no?
That was
Wait, so-
earlier because I wrote
Yeah.
down the line where Picard, "You were slow, number one," scolded the other Picard. "Sorry, sir," said the other Riker. "I'm not accustomed to trying to shoot myself."
That's
Yes.
right. No. Which is the one that gets killed because there's someone in the Jeffries tube? Oh no, that was track B Riker in the Jeffries tube then that saves them
Yes.
later. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
It's complicated.
It is.
But they lure track A Picard into the holodeck. And
Into the
then
holodeck.
Or track C Picard, and then he and track A Worf kill each other.
Yes.
I feel bad for track C. Like, beyond the fact that
Yeah.
obviously they're in the universe that sucks, that they're probably all going to die eventually anyway. Like, they lose their captain and first officer.
Mm-hmm. But they gain a data.
They do gain a data. And Q briefly thinks about trying to fix that and then doesn't, and decides it's not worth it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So yeah, what happens with Jack Crusher?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we should say first he walks from, I guess, the hallway of the Track A Enterprise into the sick bay of the Track B Enterprise,
Oh, right.
and causes Beverly to have a. Does she faint? She starts screaming,
She does faint, yes.
She does
Yeah.
faint, yeah.
and
But she first screams that you're dead over and over again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's just having a great old time with that reaction because he heads from there to his
And
quarters
runs into Wesley.
and runs
Mhm.
into Track C Wesley, who basically has the same
Mhm.
reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then Wesley goes into sick bay, where Beverly Howard has the same reaction, basically.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And everybody starts saying, "What the hell?" to each other.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jack goes back to sick bay,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
and this is Track A sick bay with Track A. No, it's Track B Picard though, isn't it? It's not Track A
Yeah,
Picard.
Yes, Track
Track
B
A
Picard.
sick bay with Track A Beverly and
Beverly.
Geordi and Jack,
And Track B Picard.
and Track B Picard. Yep.
And Jack is trying to kill Picard, and in the process, he shoves Beverly, who hits her head and dies. And they talk about, because Jack had earlier in the book, Jack had been talking about how he always imagined the noise it made when Wesley fell,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, oh, he hears that noise when.
Yep.
And she says that she would always love him, and dies. And he can't take that, and he kills himself.
Yep.
"I'll be damned," said Jack Crusher, and then matching action to words, he reversed the phaser and blew his own head off.
Yep.
And
then there's that
Picard's-
moment where
Picard's like, I don't know which Beverly. that
which
was.
Beverly this was. Yeah.
Yes.
Because Q
Yeah.
had changed her hair.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
He was
See,
like,
this
"What's
is
up
just-
with your hair?" And he just changed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Q tells him it wasn't your Beverly, and he doesn't know if that makes him feel any better.
And I think he says it doesn't.
Yeah.
But then at this point, Q has been trying to reincorporate this whole time. And he has finally made it enough to explain to Picard what's going on. Tells Picard he's got to go down to Terminus and fight it out with Trelane.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So Picard meets up with Track B Picard meets up with Track B Riker, Track B Worf, and Track A Tasha.
Yeah.
And like at this point, like Picard's not phased about it. He's just like, Commander Lieutenant, and he looks at Tasha and he's just like, Lieutenant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they go to the transporter room, but now Track C Tasha and her crew are trying to break in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just so much carnage.
Yeah.
The last thing she thought was, I can't get over what an ugly haircut that was, and then blackness claimed her.
She's in the
She's in barricaded in the transporter room.
Yeah. We're in hell. And I can't believe what an ugly haircut that. I can't get over what an ugly haircut that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the ship has been getting warm this whole time because its orbit is degrading.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So now Picard is down on the planet and he's going to fence Trelane.
Yes. Well, he's watching the Enterprise fall out of the sky.
Yes.
Which, when I read this, I always kind of envisioned what it looks like in Star Trek 3.
Yeah.
You know? And here's... Okay. Every once in a while, as we're watching the newer Trek, you get the impression, or you get the absolute understanding, that the people involved in that are novel readers.
Yeah.
Because you have this exchange between Trelane and Picard about how everything matters. And it is basically Picard telling Trelane that things matter simply because they exist. And they don't need to have a purpose. And it's exactly what Q tells Picard in Picard at the end. And, yeah.
Well, it's important.
I mean, it's not
to note
verbatim,
that
but...
It's important to note that Kirsten Beyer was one of the producers on Picard.
Yes.
And she is a Trek novelist.
Yes.
So...
Yeah.
I suspect that might be where that came from.
Probably, because I have to figure that the more modern Trek novelist, because she's one of the more modern ones, read the old ones, So, yeah,
I met her at Shore Leave a couple years ago. She's a very nice lady.
Cool.
And she tolerated me telling her how awesome her work was.
Well, I'm sure it's easier to hear than people
Yes.
not liking your work.
That's true.
I don't know how to finish that. So, yeah, right.
All right, so yeah, we get the like we said earlier, is the fencing move that didn't work on Sulu does work on Trelane.
Mm-hmm. And then and Q is the sword.
Yes, which is how it works, because that's the only way they were gonna have enough. And this is where we find out that Q is Trelane's father.
Okay, so here's the thing. Because as you always thought that Trelane was lying to Jack...
Oh, you think Q's lying about this?
I don't think he's lying about it. Well, okay. He says... Q said his mother was a magnificent creature, and Picard looked at Q. Oh, was all he said. And his father was a respected sterling member of the Continuum. I mean, Picard, honestly, if I were Trelane's father, the implication would be that his mother had an illicit affair with me. Such a thing would be unthinkable, would it not, Picard? So I read it both ways.
I read it as him saying it without saying it. Yeah.
Yes. But it's also, I think, intended to parallel, and it's not the same Picard, but
yeah, it's not the Picard that had an illicit affair, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. Which brings us back to one of Roddenberry's original ideas, which that Wesley was actually going to be Picard's son. But glad they didn't do that.
Was that when it was still Leslie?
Maybe. It's only in one of the, it's a comment in one of the story put-togethers. There's a word for that I can't think of, but... Yeah, and then Trelane's dead, but he's not.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, there's a small part of him that's still alive and is still gonna Trillane along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all the everything that happened still happened, but all the timelines are separate again.
Yep.
So everyone who died is still dead, and track A's data accidentally ended up on track C with track C's data.
It appears we have misplaced Mr. Data.
Yep.
But that works out well for then Riker to become first officer.
Mm-hmm. Which I feel like his story
Track
got
A,
a bit...
Riker made a remarkable
I was
recovery
gonna say
they
they truncated a lot there, I think.
Yeah. You get the impression, or at least the way I read it, was that he had a psychotic break as a survival mechanism, and it took another break in fearing for his wife and his son's life that brought him back to himself.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Like he was able to turn it on and off, not intentionally,
right?
But I don't know if that's something that can actually happen. So
I am
that's
not a
how
psychologist.
I always read it.
I couldn't tell you. Or psychiatrist. I can never remember which is which. So that's even one's the one that studies psychologist studies, psychiatrist treats. I do remember.
Psychiatrists are MDs who also have psychology degrees.
Gotcha.
They can write prescriptions. Psychologists can't. And psychologists might not do counseling.
Right.
Although psychiatrists might not do counseling either. Anyway.
Either one of them could probably answer the question as to whether or not that's a thing, though.
Yeah. So, listeners, if any of you under
any
term or form of that, yeah. Yes, and then we've misplaced Mr. Data, and then both of the Datas show up. Two Datas sat down opposite to her. One looked normal, the other looked perfectly human. Tasha, we may have a problem.
And conveniently, no one in Track B died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have what seems to be the beginning of the creation. Well, not seems to be. It is the beginning of the creation of the Heart of the Storm between an adult and a light. He says, it was indeed the child, or what was left of him, the child he was in the beginning. So it's Trillane creating it again.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives him the name Trillane because he straddled 3 lanes of eternity.
Yes, I love that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
And we're back at the beginning of the book. What are we going to do today? My boy said the adult. There's nothing that we're not going to do today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the end with Picard and Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that moment where she has all the stuff in parentheses that she wants to talk to him about.
One of them being, I want to have sex with you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's a really weird, okay, I've been reading too much of it, so I wasn't going to read it, but I will now. Jean-Luc, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. He stood in the doorway and turned. It's 11 o'clock. All right. He stood in the doorway and turned to face her. Yes? It was a moment that hung there, a moment that cut across other moments. Parentheses. Jean-Luc, you're the best friend I've ever had. Jean-Luc, I think it's time I moved on. Jean-Luc, it's about Wesley. Jean-Luc, I'm dying. Jean-Luc, I want to have sex with you. Jean-Luc, I love you. How odd. I can't seem to remember what it was. That's all right. I'm sure it'll come to you sometime. And she turned back to ask him why he sounded so strange when he said that, but he was already gone. I remember reading this after seeing All Good... I mean, it was a while after seeing All Good Things. But that whole... This whole thing of, they're together in every freaking universe, but in every freaking universe, they can't stay together for some reason.
Yeah. Right.
But we do know that in Track B, they will have sex at least once.
Yes, that's true.
I think we know they did more than once because they said they ended their romantic relationship for, what does he say, the 4th or 5th time?
Well, we don't know they had sex every time.
No, okay, we don't know.
We know for sure they did once.
We know that they had to have done it once.
That is true. I think it's a safe assumption, though.
Yes, probably.
I'm thinking of the I'm thinking of the Protestants in the Monty Python when it's
Yes.
like, we have 2 children and we've had sexual intercourse twice.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Maybe we'll get Legacy.
No.
No.
Well, okay. Once Strange New Worlds is done, we might get something like that.
That's what I meant.
Because Legacy and Strange New Worlds sort of fill the same niche.
Yeah.
We will not get it won't be called Legacy, and it probably won't be run by Terry Metalis, and it probably won't even it probably won't be about Captain Seven, but we might get that period Star Trek ship show.
But you think it wouldn't be Captain Seven?
It might be, but it might not be. It might be something else.
I want to see more of Jack Crusher. Young Jack Crusher.
Maybe we'll get Star Trek Stargazer.
Okay, not that Jack Crusher. The other Jack.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't thinking of that Jack Crusher.
Jack Crusher Picard, not Jack Crusher.
Sorry.
Right,
Right, that
you're
makes
going
more
back
sense.
a ways. Although Stargazer's fine too.
As long as they don't wear the Strange New Worlds Monster Maroons and they wear the actual Monster Maroons.
And give them back the damn collars.
Well, they shouldn't actually have the collars, technically.
I know they shouldn't, but I don't care. They look weird without
They look
the
better
collars.
with the collar. Yeah.
It does look better with the collars, but
Just not the awful Jack Crusher version that we saw
with the
Family.
with the comm badge and no belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, it can be like on the Enterprise C, where only the captain gets a belt.
No, Captain gets the pin.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they went in storage and found what fit.
Yeah.
They had one left.
Yeah.
It's like, how did they lose I understand that they had issues with a lot of the uniform. The reason they didn't have the shirts is because they were moth-eaten. I get that.
Yeah.
What happened to the badges?
I mean, I realize that's something that can easily walk off, but all of them?
Right.
What was it? Lincoln Enterprises or whatever Roddenberry's company that was selling crap was called.
Well, but I mean, at that point they could.
But the replicas they sold were not screen accurate.
No, I know.
They were metal.
What was the name of that company? Hollywood Pins. They could have called them Hollywood Pins, and they would have taken care of it for them.
Well, but then if they did run out of all of them, they made a whole bunch for generations.
Right. Of course, that was 4 years later, so
Yeah.
a lot can happen in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. But still.
This was such a good book.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad we got to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you let me just ramble on. Thank you.
I mean, that's... Have
Thank
we
you
had
for
an
the excuse to
episode where
read it
I
again.
have it?
More than usual. I don't usually read 5 pages of text uninterrupted, so...
Is there anything else we haven't covered from Q Squared that either of you want to say?
I don't think so.
I think if I haven't at this point,
Yeah.
that's my own fault.
Yeah.
All right. Carl, thank you so much for joining us for this discussion. Where can listeners find you online? What work do you have that you might want to mention?
So I can be found on Blue Sky at Listening to Film. That's my handle. And I can be found on Thad and my podcast, License the Spiel, which, funnily enough, we actually mentioned Q Squared in that episode.
Nice.
As a weird kind of, we were talking about reading Rainbow crossover with TNG and how maybe the kids could have been reading Q Squared. So that's kind of funny that happened. And
that's highly appropriate.
A little bit, yeah.
And we recorded that like a month or two ago, so it was
I know.
it was before we planned to do this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Just universe aligned. And I'm also been I've been starting to rewatch Strange New Worlds for the upcoming season. I've been writing some recap thoughts on that and posting them on Blue Sky as well. And you can check it out on at listeningtofilm.net as well. I'm way behind. I need to start making up some ground, or else I'm not going to finish before the show starts. But
Okay.
Well, if you have to, you can probably skip Those Old Scientists, So Space Rhapsody, since you probably have them memorized.
kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did when I watched for our podcast episode. I skipped Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, Those Old Scientists, and So Space Rhapsody.
Yep. I can't say I've watched The Broken Circle since I first watched it, so that'll be...
Yeah.
I'll watch The Broken Circle 5 times before I want to watch Lift Them Where Suffering Cannot Reach again.
God, yeah.
Just posted that one.
I mean, it's because it's so well done.
Yeah.
It's just gut-wrenching, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So...
Anyway. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not sneaking around so your ex doesn't find about your new paramour?
Here on Infinite Diversity, of course, and History with the Szilagyi, which is going to be returning with the 4th of July, so by the time you've heard this, it's back. I'm also happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook. I'm on the various socials at The Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics. Thad, where can people find you when you're not cobbling together a machine that will allow you to control anything and everything and everyone and everywhere?
Best place to find me is probably on Blue Sky. I am at Tyrannicus. That's Tyranicus. You can hear me with Carl on the aforementioned License to Spiel. That's license spelled with a C, like the British do it. Because we started out talking about James Bond, ran out of that. Started talking about other spies, ran out of that, and now we're talking about Columbo.
He's got a license to spiel.
Yeah.
He has just one more thing to say.
Yeah. More thing.
All right. Well, don't forget about all of our other great shows here on the BQN. Here's a recording of Amy to tell you all about them.
Calling all audiophiles and Trekkies. Prepare to boldly go where no podcast listener has gone before with the diverse soundscapes of BQN. We're not just a network, we're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Charting the Star Trek cosmos, we have all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy Class, Engage. Stephen and Stefan pilots this deep space mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite Diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissie and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiances lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into the rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the T-Bab? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube, as well as a podcast, are Treksperts quiz. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. Beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Szilagys. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissie and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. And Transformational Journeys. Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. To unlock deeper levels of engagement, try our patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. And check out our back catalog of It's Green, a verdant cornucopia of topics offering diverse and engaging conversations, and Amy's Math Moments. Discover the subtle and not so subtle mathematical wonders woven into the fabric of Star Trek. You can stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following at BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
And if you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on the socials at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of our BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and join our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we will finally be talking about the first episode of Season 3 of Strange New Worlds, Hegemony Part 2. Until then, we bid you peace and long life.